We welcome in a man who I'd say is very skilled. Now, baseball owned his skills as he had a 250 batting average with 20 home runs, 83 RBIs, and 14 stolen bases over his 7-year career with 6 MLB teams. Now, he's on a mission to unlock players' potential through mental skills training. The only thing this guy breaks is records. The founder of the SVA Sport, the co-host of the Let 'Em Play podcast, a believer in hashtag Be Here Now. Well, we have him here now. We welcome in the Mac Daddy, Darnell McDonald. What's going on?
That's a hell of an introduction right there, Eric, man. I appreciate it. Nothing much. Just, chilling, man. Really, all the things that you mentioned with the SVA Sport and podcasts and all these things, man, is keeping me busy. Excited, happy to be here on your guys' podcast, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And, before we dive into your career, kind of what inspired you to make your own podcast?
Really, it was the pandemic, really, the pandemic. And, being able to connect with people. I connected with a lot of people that I hadn't talked to in a long time. And then, got on there with Mike Cameron and Killer Cam. That's one of my mentors, man. This dude took me under his wing. I learned a lot from him, continue to learn a lot from him. We had Billy Hall on there. Guys, for both of those guys, we were all teammates, and we're actually all in the same outfield at one time in Boston, believe it or not. So pretty impressive, but just being able to connect with friends.
That's a Gold Glove outfield right there. Nobody's getting a hit on you guys. But Darnell, I want to start out with the early years because I don't think people realize how great of an athlete you were in high school. You were a first-team high school All-American in 1996 and 1997, also being the Baseball America High School Player of the Year, the latter one. Your junior year, you hit .581 with 15 home runs in 22 games. And as a senior, hit .606 with 10 home runs. And I read that batting average would have been higher if they actually threw you better pitches. Now, not only did you play baseball, but at Cherry Creek High School, you rushed for 6,121 yards, which was the most in Colorado history at the time, scoring 83 touchdowns while leading the Bruins to 3 state titles and earning multiple scholarship offers. I just want to let you know, some of us weren't even talented enough to play one sport in high school, okay?
Man, that's the glory days. And it's funny because, being in Colorado, being able to connect with, old friends from high school. We got so many stories. And I think at the time, you take all this stuff for granted. Right. And I've had the opportunity to play in Fenway Park, Yankee Stadium, all these, the professional, unbelievable stadiums. But I still, to this day, high school was one of the best times of my life. And, you mentioned, we won a lot of winning. Like, that's all I knew was winning. And then you get to pro ball and you lose a lot. And I was like, I don't know what this is. And so that's one of the reasons that, do with mental skills, right? So how do you know how to do something if you've never done it? And we know that baseball is a sport that it's about failure and how you deal with failure. You mentioned my numbers in high school. I really didn't fail in high school. And then you get drafted. I got drafted in 97, signed out of high school, and then I start failing a lot, man. And, I really didn't have a resource to deal with that failure. And so, the older that I've gotten and, been able to learn from a lot of really, 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 really good players. We're talking about Hall of Fame players, like watching these guys. Like, this is how I learned to be a big leaguer, by watching big leaguers. And, they say success leaves clues, right? So I would watch these guys, and why are these guys successful? And, so I like to use a lot of the things that I learned from these other players and teammates that I played with to help other people.
So Darnell, I want to backtrack because we're still talking about the high school, the good years, where you're winning everything. Because you were in quite demand. You had a scholarship offer for football, but also being a highly touted baseball prospect. Now, I read your first choice was UCLA, but then Texas made you an offer to infuse you into their football and baseball programs. And you were selected in the first round of the 26th overall pick in the 1997 MLB draft with an offer of a $1.9 million signing bonus. So what made you choose baseball?
A few things, like going into the whole whether I was going to go to college or play pro ball, I looked at it as a win-win. Okay, either way, it was going to be a great opportunity. I remember it was about 2 days before I was getting ready to report to. There's my man. There's my man, David. David, what's up, man?
Yo, what's going on, my friend?
You got a fine kangaroo court being late. So just, I'll give you my Venmo when we get done with this. So no, we're just talking about why I chose to play baseball.
Oh, so I'm right on the good stuff. All right, good. I didn't miss anything. Hopefully, I didn't miss anything good yet.
No, man, not at all. So it was 2 days before I was getting ready to go to 2 days, and coming from, I grew up, man, I didn't come from a lot of money, and I remember I'm 18 years old. Myself and a family friend flew to Seattle. Met the team in Seattle. They were playing the Mariners out there, and I'm sitting at a round table with Pat Gillich, Logan White. These were like, that's a Hall of Fame GM. And so we ended up getting the deal done 2 days before I ended up going to Texas. I think the thing that really swayed me was obviously financially, expect to pass up that type of money. When people ask me, would you do anything different now? And if I was talking to someone else, like college is, go to college, right? Go to college, gives you the opportunity to mature a little bit, opportunity to fail, right? Fail in a controlled atmosphere. Like, this is not the real thing, right? This is not business. Once you sign that contract, like, it's business. You know what I'm saying? But I'd have no regrets. If I didn't do what I did, like, I wouldn't be here now. I wouldn't be doing the things that I've been able to do. I probably would be a mental skills coach, right? If I didn't go through all the adversity and challenges I did being 18 years old and going into the real world of sports and life.
Yeah, and touching on your career, because you're right, it's really tough to pass up that money. I'm thinking of myself as 27 years old, and saying no to 1.9 million would be something that would be tough for me to swallow. Your first 3 seasons, you were in Class A and Class AA ball, and you got your first chance at AAA with Rochester in 2001, and you put up some good stats in the minors. You hit for good average, some power, and especially stealing bags. You'd finally get your shot at the majors on April 30th, 2004. Now, your call up to the major leagues was 7 years after you were drafted. So what were your thoughts when you heard the news? Were you excited, relieved, nervous?
Obviously I was excited, right? Like, man, you're playing, you're at the highest level, you're getting an opportunity. But to really be honest, my experience wasn't really good when I was with the Orioles. A lot of it's had to do with my own doing, right? I had to learn how to be a professional. I didn't at that time, coming in, I didn't know how to work, right? In high school, I didn't have to work for anything. I was just better than everyone else. Also at that time, in 97, like, I came in, I got drafted in, they call it a steroid era. You know what I'm saying? So it's, you're 18 years old, you're number 1 pick, and you see yourself getting passed up by other guys. In my head, I'm thinking, like, man, like, I know these guys aren't better than me, right? But I wasn't really putting up the kind of numbers that you want to see from a number one prospect. Right? It definitely took me longer to develop just, you know, different challenges. So you have challenges on the field, obviously just developing, learning how to play with the wood bat, learning how to play every day. The failure part of it. And then the off the field stuff, like my second year of pro ball, my mother passed away. That was a big blow for me. You know, that's probably one of the times that I was really thinking about like giving it up. And the thing that kept me going was I told my mom that I was going to play in the major leagues. So if it wasn't for that, I probably would have shut it down. I think around that same time, 04, the Browns contacted me, Cleveland Browns football team to go, you know, play football, NFL. I was going to play, be an emergency running back for the last 3 games of the season, and then, you know, obviously go into camp. And that was another time where I really thought about, man, I'm going to switch and I'm going to go play football. That didn't happen, obviously. You know, I had a deferred contract, so the area, but, you know, if you go play, you got to give back some of this money. I wasn't going to do that, so I stuck with baseball, and I'm really happy I did. You know, the moral of the story is hard work, man. Hard work, do anything you want to do, and never give up.
Darnell, so I'm curious. This is a little bit off topic. On your Twitter, you're MacDime54. What's the dime stand for?
That's an awesome question, man, and no one's ever asked me that. So I remember when I was getting into the Twitter game back when, I don't even know how long my account's been going. It's probably around 2010, maybe. Like, you need a handle for your name. I go, man, I don't know. But my boys back home, they always call me Mac Dime. Mac Dime. That's my Colorado guys I grew up with. And so I just went with Mac Dime. 54. I was 54 at the time with Boston. So that's where Mac Dime 54 came from.
But like I always think of dime as like in basketball where you're like throwing dimes to people. Yeah. Like he's dropping dimes. Was that because you were balling on the court?
Yeah, it's some, you know, like, yeah, something like that, like Mac Dime. It's funny because my good friend, Jewish dude, he's the one that really gave me that nickname, Mac Dime.
Mac Dime, I love him. I need a better.
I should have done a little more research on the intro. I introed him as Mac Daddy. I should have done Mac Dime.
No, Mac Dime is where it's at. I love it.
It doesn't have anything to do with the fact that your first home run was against Clayton Kershaw.
Whew. Yeah, man. How about that? Like that alone for me, like that's definitely up there with a highlight of my career.
I would definitely, wherever you go, I would have that like ready to show someone to be like, yeah, boom. Like I would have that saved as like a clip on my phone. Like a home run off Clayton Kershaw itself is crazy, but your first home run being off of him is nuts. I don't know if you know who Pat Light is.
I was going to bring it up.
Yeah, but we had Pat Light on, and he struck out Mike Trout. And he just he owns a bar, and he has that playing on a loop the entire night, every night at the bar, one of the TVs.
Hell yeah! I'm gonna wait till Kershaw goes to the Hall of Fame, and then that's when I'm gonna break it all out. It's funny. There's another funny story about that, right? Because you know, I was with the Reds. My cousin James McDonald was with the Dodgers at the time, and so we were hanging out the night before. And he's talking all kind of mess to me, like, you know, I'm gonna throw you all fastballs. I'm telling these guys, just throw you fastballs, right? So next day we're playing the game. We got Kershaw on the mound. First pitch he throws me like 95 in. I remember I fouled it over the first base dugout. I step out of the box and I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, this mug throws gas. Like there's it coming. So I step back in and I'm like, I'm gonna sell out. I'm selling out on the fastball. If he throws me anything else, I'll probably tie my shoelaces up. Sure enough, he came back in there with that fastball, and he threw it right into my barrel. And I'd love to send him a Christmas card every year for that, because that is for life. It's a Hall of Famer. Clay Upper Deck, 1-0.
Where's the ball?
Reds. So my dad has the balls.
Okay.
My dad still has trophies from like 4th grade, like those plastic trophies. It's like, I'm gonna send them to you. And I'm like, bro, no, I don't want no. Let's take up space. I don't want those trophies. But he has my first hit, and he has that ball I hit off of Clayton Kershaw.
Okay. All right. So that's one of the highlights of your career. And Darnell, I want to go to 2010, and at 31 years old, you finally had a home in the majors with the Red Sox. And I'm going to be honest, I was 16 years old at the time, so that's where I remember your playing days from. Now, you'd play 117 games your first year with Boston, hitting .270 with 9 home runs. And your first appearance for the club was a story I'm sure you get asked about a lot. Now, for those that don't know, in his first at-bat, he became the 9th Red Sox player to homer in his first at-bat with the team. Your 2-run home run over the Green Monster tied the game at 6-6 in the 8th inning. The next inning, the bottom of the 9th, you had a game-winning hit over the same Green Monster to give them a walk-off win, becoming the first player ever to have a game-winning RBI in your debut. So I think your start with Boston couldn't have been any better. What did that game mean for your career, and how many drinks did you get bought that night?
You remember, you said that's made like first player ever. Like this like unreal. This is the Boston Red Sox. Like, this is one of the most historic franchises in sports. And at the time, I didn't even realize, like, we're going to rewind, okay? So I'm in Rochester, New York. We get called up, Josh Reddick and I, we got called up on the same day. But they didn't know if we were getting called up. They're like, okay, you're going to go to Boston. You have to make sure that these guys can't go. And then we'll call you over to the field. So we're sitting in the hotel. They call Reddick over. It's probably about 5:30. I'm still there. They didn't call me yet. And it was also weird because it was like, we're called up, but I couldn't call my family and be like, I got called up, because I wasn't activated yet. So literally it was probably like 6 o'clock. They called. All right, can't go. We're activating. Come over to the field. Even before that, in my head, I'm like, I'm activated because I'm not going back. I don't even care. Like, I'm called up. So I get to the field. The Pookie, the clubhouse guys, like, what number do you want? Oh man, I don't care. Just give me the number and spring training, which was 54. So I get dressed, no BP, sitting in the dugout, right? We get to the 8th inning, and Tito's like, so-and-so gets on, you're going to pinch hit. Still in my head, I'm like, that ain't happening, right? So-and-so got on. Mac, let's go. I hit the homer, but it's like I didn't have time to celebrate because, like, I'm still in the game. The game's still going on. Come back around in the 9th inning, bases loaded, 2 outs. It's the same situation like when you're playing wiffle ball, back when they played wiffle ball, or we used to play in the tennis courts with the tennis balls, and we had our bases and stuff. And so, every time when it was like time to go in, what do you do? Okay, last at bat, bases loaded, 2 outs. So here I am, however many years later, in Fenway Park, bases loaded, 2 outs. Hit the wall ball, and it's like I can still see these. I can still see that breaking ball. Oh man, I'm drawing a blank. Darren Oliver. I can still see that breaking ball coming out of his hand, that little move. And then the 9th inning, that the 94-mile-an-hour fastball, I can still see that, right? So get off the wall. If you watch the video, I'm coming around second. It hasn't even hit me. I'm like, okay, won the game. But it wasn't until I turned around and looked at my teammates coming, like, charging me, power line, Laser Show and all these guys that have kind of sunk in. So the next day, I didn't have time to go celebrate after that. I was actually stayed at the same hotel. I wish I would have knew the name of the wings. I had these wings, right? I don't know where the wings are from. They're unbelievable wings. The next day, I got pulled over going to the park. Right, so I get pulled over. Officer's like, see your license. So I give him my license. Takes a look. He goes, Mr. McDonald, your game last night. I just want to let you know we have some speed traps set up here. Make sure you be careful. Have a great game tonight. Like, what? So that's kind of really where it really hit me about Red Sox Nation is no joke. Okay, it is no joke. And imagine at the time the Red Sox were on a 6-game losing streak, so everyone's on edge. And if it wasn't for that day right there, like I can probably guarantee you that I wouldn't be here right now. Right? So I'm telling you this because moral of the story is life is about timing, right? Timing and being ready when your time comes. Be ready. Be ready. That's our job, to be ready. And that time I was ready to go. And I was ready. I was ready because I was playing with house money at that time. I'd been released. I've been, all these things. So now I'm like, everything else is extra.
Darnell, I got to ask you, because you talked about timing, and there was unfortunate timing for somebody on this thing I'm about to show you. There's a clip of you hitting a home run, and I don't want to spoil where this home run goes. I don't know if you know if you remember this. So this is
look at the 1-800-54 Giant Glass.
He's got another deep, far, and very gone.
So they're not showing right now where that home. Obviously, you smashed that home run off of Jared Weaver, no less. So I feel like everybody hates Jared Weaver. But so do you remember where this ball went?
Righty. So yeah, man.
You broke his car.
1-800, and before the pitch, you saw it said 1-800-54 Glass. Like, you can't make this stuff up.
Yeah,
like, if you go back, it says 1-800-54 Glass.
Oh wait, let me go back. To to where you're standing right here. Right here, right?
Yeah, there you go. 1-800-54 Giant Glass. We should have done a commercial with Giant Glass. That was a perfect commercial for them. But yeah, see, that's another. There's so many things with the Red Sox. That was, this is the time of my life. I'm playing with the Boston Red Sox. I don't know how many at bats I was playing. Like, this was unbelievable. I'm in the show, and it's like I'm with the Beatles, traveling with the Beatles, and so that, without a doubt, was probably the best year of my life, being able to be with the Red Sox, play with so many unbelievable teammates, so much fun. We didn't win, but we still had a lot of fun.
So, Darnell, I got to ask, because talking about your time with the Red Sox, I saw you had a couple pitching appearances, including one against the Orioles when the game was in the 17th inning. So how do teams decide what position players will pitch? Is it kind of just like volunteer? Like, oh, we feel like you're good, like you're the emergency guy?
Well, I pitched in high school. I should say I threw in high school. I didn't really pitch, I threw. But how do teams decide? So when you're the 25th man on the roster, like, your job is to do everything. So we talked about being ready, right?
This is you pitching right here, I think, actually.
He was just ready with these videos.
Oh, and this is a tie ball game in the show. There's my guy, Bobby B.
So he's on. So obviously, like, I think he has a pretty bad rap. Did you were a fan of Bobby Valentine?
There we go. There's some movement on there.
I know my guy is messing with me now. No, I'm not a fan of Bobby V. I think Bobby V didn't want me there from the jump, from spring training. If you look at what I hit in spring training, it kind of motivated me though. But this is like to be able to pitch in a tie ball game, and I was actually out there like thinking through the game, right? Like how I'm gonna get a double play ball. I think Salty Amakia, I think he threw somebody out too, but that might have been the first time I pitched versus the A's.
83. Like that's some pretty good heat coming from a position player too.
I'm putting him on right here in my head. I'm not trying to pitch to him. I'm trying to there's a base open. I'm trying to put him on to get ready for a double play ball. That's what I'm thinking in my head. So I was trying to throw, those are changeups. But I'm trying to throw a changeup. Because if you also look, I think I hit 90 or 91 here. So I tried to hump up a couple times toward the end.
Okay, so there you go. Yeah, you got Markakis on, like you said, set up that double play ball with one out. Okay, so that makes perfect sense. Obviously, set it up so you can get out of the inning here to still tie game. Who they have? Adam Jones. So, I mean, at this point, Adam Jones is still one of their best hitters.
298, 7. He's a pretty good hitter.
This was like the peak of Adam Jones too, and this was obviously when right in there at 83. Okay, all right, starting him out 0-1 count. This is the pitcher side of you coming out. I like it.
Yeah, so I know they're taking till you get a strike, right? So I want to get that first strike, and then I want to try to get a ground ball right here. And I'll tell you, it's not as easy as you're in the stands and you're like, man, just throw a strike. It ain't that easy throwing a strike.
Got him inside.
Yeah, you know what's being scary, being 2-0 or 2-1 to a big league hitter.
Well, that looks like I mean, it's okay. It's okay. You know what? It's tough. It's tough to pitch. It's one of those things. I mean, you had to get it in the zone to get it to him. Obviously, Adam Jones is one of the best hitters in baseball at that point. So,
where that ball was, like I was going away, right? The ball's away because obviously you got the monster, and he just reached out and just yanked my shit over the. He hit me with this. I always mess with him. I'm like, why you got to hit me with that, man? Coming across. Oh no, that's for my grandma and my mom. I'm like, all right, man. But to add to that story, so I give up the game-winning home run, right? And then they had Chris Davis, who was pitching for their team. He's throwing gas with a splitty. So Adrian Gonzalez hits before I did. He struck Adrian Gonzalez out on 3 pitches.
Wow. I hope you never let him live it down.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to the plate. I'm thinking to myself, like, man, whatever you do, don't let him strike you out. Well, he didn't strike me out. I grounded into a double play to end the game.
Oh, man.
So we gave it the winning home run, game-winning home run, and I grounded into a double play to end the game.
You're on both sides of history.
But you know what? Like, that's the best part about baseball with 162 games and going right back at it the next day. It's like you can just like be like, all right, you know what? Wasn't on my game this day, but tomorrow you can hit a home run, win the game for your team, and completely change the narrative of how you feel about how your season's going just in one day.
That's the best part about baseball, and that's why they say baseball is a lot like life, right? Like every day is a new day to create whatever you want. Right? So like today, my mantra for the day is I have the ability to create, do, and have anything I can dream of. Right? So that's what we all have every day. We have that opportunity to create that. We have a new canvas. And so, yeah, that's what baseball. The baseball, you talk about hone my skills. That's what it one of the skills that it honed is every day. You got to come to the post every day. Can you come every day with the mindset like it's opening day, right? Opening day, everyone's confidence is sky high, right? I'm going to do this, and this. And then, the season goes on and we get more like condition and That's where the mental side comes from. So being able to, every day is opening day, that type of confidence, bring that confidence to the field every day. And if you get, the majority of your players doing that, those are the teams that win, right? Like it doesn't matter if it's baseball, whatever sport, right? You watch watching the Suns game, and it's like that game 5 is like I can visually see their team lost confidence. Right? That's where that series was lost in game 5. So we talk about momentum, like, man, that's life, same way. When we get on that wave, you got to ride that wave as long as you can.
Wise words and inspiration from Darnell McDonald, football player.
You also forgot to call him the Predator, because Dustin Pedroia apparently called him the Predator, which I didn't see any background for why that was. Why did he call you that?
The Predator. He wanted to talk mess about my locks, right?
Oh.
That's why I made a Predator. But the thing about my man Petey, so he was mad he didn't have no hair, right?
He was bald his entire career.
But he tried to grow it out many times. So if we go back and we look at pictures, he tried to grow it out in 2010, because I would tell him, I'm like, Petey, you have to feed the plant, right? You ever see a dry plant grow? So I got him this coconut oil. He put in his hair every day. He put in coconut oil. And he was like, I'm growing it out, man. He thought for sure. So he's growing it out. He had a little pothole in the back, what I got now, but bless his heart. He's like, I'm doing it. And he did it.
Oh, man. That's a great story. Darnell, we like to get our guests out of here with a little triple play rapid fire, some this or that questions. You game?
Let's do it.
You probably haven't been asked some of these before.
Like, why is it triple play?
Hey, love it.
Yeah, there we go. So we do fantasy baseball, football, and basketball, and we do fantasy analysis, but we also like doing these interviews here. So
that's why Darnell's the man.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a playoff of triple play, triple threat, triple double. You guys do it all.
That's
Exactly.
right. We used to have one of the old video games is like called Triple Play Baseball. We used to have in our intro be like, "Oh, it's a triple play," and like it would have like our beat going. It was pretty fire before we had to switch it up a little bit, but
that game was dope though.
It was.
Oh, he remembers.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, Darnell. The first one. Would you rather rush for 250 yards in a game or hit 2 home runs in a game?
Oh. So this is both? This is pro? This is wow.
This is whatever level. This is a tough one, number one.
So I'm just trying to think if I ever hit 2 home runs and throw a ball in a game.
I think you did. I think I'm looking right now. I think you hit. There was
Getting Durham
on 6/22/09. You hit 2 home runs in a game.
09?
Yeah, in 09. That was for. I'm looking right now.
Probably Boston.
Louisville.
It's for the Bats.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, baby. Another good spot, man. I love Louisville. A lot of love for Louisville and Durham, North Carolina. But that's a great question. I'm gonna just say 250 in the NFL because I haven't done it.
All right. I love it. What's the better burger at McDonald's, the Big Mac or the double quarter pounder?
No burgers from McDonald's.
All right. I figure I had to get a McDonald's pun in there somewhere.
We're gonna go back because I'm not okay. Back in high school, we did eat a lot of Big Macs because they had this special. It was like 2 for $2 or something crazy. Like so in high school, we go get them Big Macs and kill them. So Big Mac. Let's go Big Mac.
All right. Would you rather forget who you were or who everyone else was?
Ooh. Everyone else, baby.
All right. Yeah. You're not forgetting yourself. I like it. Would you rather run at 100 miles per hour or fly at 1 mile per hour?
Let's fly.
My man will be go ahead. He already robbed a couple home runs, but that way he can rob even more of them when he was playing.
Fly high. You know it.
Bowling.
That's a throwback right there.
There we go. Jim Jones, man. I love it. All right, Darnell, you probably had a lot of girls that you were their high school crush, but what was the name of your high school crush?
Ooh. And for sure, I would say Stacy Dash.
Okay.
Yeah,
She's an avid listener of Triple Play.
Yeah, let her know. My Mac Dime 5'4".
Mac Dime 5'4", Stacy Dash. We got it. Which one of these weapons would you rather use for self-defense? A sword or nunchucks?
Ooh. I'm a Bruce Lee fan, so I'm going nunchucks.
I love it. I love it.
Used to have I'd hit myself in the head all the time. It hurt.
But if you can master them, it looks really cool.
Right. You know why you also pick nunchucks too is none of your swings. I don't know if you keep up with the pitching ninja on Twitter, but whenever batters swing and they miss, he calls them swords because it looks like they're swinging a sword. But you didn't have those in your game, so you ain't used to swinging swords.
No, you know who swings a sword is my man Chris Bryant. If you watch him, he looks like he's fencing. I tell people he swings a sword.
I'm never going to be able to look at his swing again without thinking of that.
Watch that. But, oh, yeah, one more thing. So back to the nunchucks. So when you get the chance, when you get off here, pull up Bruce Lee Inspiration. It's like a 2-minute video on YouTube. And watch how amazing this dude is with nunchucks.
Bruce Lee nunchucks? Or
Bruce Lee Inspiration. All right, that's the first thing I have after this.
Yes, check him out.
Is it be like water?
That's what water looks like. That's what I tell people. That's what mindfulness looks like in motion. That's Bruce Lee. He's a moving.
I love it.
All right, we got a couple more here, and then I got to look at this Bruce Lee video. Live 10 minutes from work in an apartment or in a big house an hour away from work.
10 minutes, baby. Let's go. I'm always late anyway, so 10 minutes.
All right. Would you rather eat overcooked or undercooked food?
Why would you put that one in there? That's literally like no one's gonna pick undercooked because then you can't eat it.
I don't know. Some people don't like overcooked food.
I love sushi, man. If I could eat anything every day, it'd be sushi.
Really? Do you have a favorite sushi roll, like the California roll or like the tuna roll?
Well, like California roll, that's not really sushi. Okay, let's just be honest.
Why?
Well, it's not. What is this? Crab? It's crab. It's cooked crab, or it's like the crab mix. And sushi is fish, raw fish.
crabs fit like crabs, like it's all underwater stuff. That's how.
David, I like that you're in defense after he says nobody would pick undercooked, and it sounds like this is the way he's leaning.
So, yeah. Spicy tuna. I eat that every day. Spicy tuna.
All right. I love it. And he's shutting David up. Would you rather fight 100 ducks?
Right? Get you some spicy tuna rolls today. Go to if you have Sprouts or Whole Foods, go get you the spicy tuna rolls.
I don't think we have Sprouts here, but we have Whole Foods. So it's spicy tuna rolls. So if I don't like them,
go to Harris Teeter, David.
So if I don't like them, I can tweet at you and say that your taste in sushi is pretty bad.
Yeah, I want to see it, and then so you don't have to Venmo me. You're fine for being late. So make up for it. You go to this sushi. I want to see you get spicy tuna rolls, and I want to keep eating.
Well, I just followed you now, so when on Twitter, so that way when I buy them and then I throw them in the dumpster after I don't like them, just so you know.
No, give them to me. I'll eat them.
I want to see it. I want to see a short video of you eating spicy tuna roll.
Well, okay, so tomorrow I'm doing a donut challenge. So I'm gonna have the sushi rolls on the side. So I'll film the whole thing and then I'll tag you so that way when I don't like, I'll give you the live reaction of it.
So what is a donut challenge?
It's a dozen donuts in 10 minutes.
Are we talking donut holes?
No, I'm talking about full size like Krispy Kreme donuts.
And so how many? 10 and 10 minutes?
12 donuts in 10 minutes.
Oh, that's good.
That
That ain't a challenge.
was not what? Are you?
Those especially Krispy Kreme, those donuts melt in your mouth.
But they're
I don't
still
know,
like
it
big.
feels
Like
a lot.
they're still big size donuts, and that's more than a donut a minute.
So is this being filmed?
Yeah, I'm filming it tomorrow.
And who is are you competing versus someone, or what type of challenge is this?
He's doing it for clout.
No, I'm doing it for the YouTube channel, like to help grow our YouTube channel. So I'm it's David versus Donut, and I'm gonna live stream it. And if I do the 12 donuts in 10 minutes, I consider myself a god, and I'm going to leave on a high note after that.
So if you finish 12 before 10 minutes, are you gonna keep going, or are you gonna stop at 12?
if I can even just eat 12 in 10 minutes, I'm gonna be like amazing.
Let's go, man. No, let's go. You can do it. So are you gonna stop at 12? You're done, or are you gonna keep going?
I mean, so you're saying I should order more than when I go to the drive-thru? I should order more than just the dozen.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know what you should do, but I want to see it. Good luck, man.
All right,
Darnell, I got one last question to ask you, and I feel like this is going to be a good one. Would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck?
100 duck side? No, man. I'm scared of ducks. I'm scared of ducks and geese. So I don't want to. Definitely not. No ducks. Horse-sized ducks for sure not.
So you're fighting the 100 duck-sized horses then?
Yeah.
It'd be like mini horses.
Yeah. Get off me.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah. You can't use nunchucks though. That's the catch-22.
No, why can't he use his nunchucks?
I guess you could.
Might as well.
I want the horse ducks. How do you even come up with that question? Like, what are you doing at night?
Yeah,
that's a good question, man. I mean, I don't know. We're weird.
Well, technically, you don't even have a house right now. You're technically in between leases, living random places right now. So I guess you have
so I have a lot of time to think of these really weird questions.
So yeah, there you go.
That's the story of my life, baby. Keep going.
I love it. Man, I didn't realize that Darnell and us had a lot in common besides him being really good at baseball and us never playing competitive baseball. I feel like we're like the same person.
I don't know. Yeah, man.